summertime here in Washington, and we know that because it is also cherry season. So right at the end of June, beginning of July is when cherries are perfectly in season, and we are like one of the biggest producers of cherries in the whole entire country. So cherries, when you get them, you want to make sure to try to keep the stems on them as long as possible. So the whole washing process, we're going to keep the stems on, just like I do for grapes. Once the stems come off, then oxygen can get inside of the cherries and they will start to deteriorate. Make sure you keep the stems on right until you're ready to eat them, and it'll keep them the freshest the longest. So to wash the cherries, I'm going to put them in a large bowl and I'm going to fill it up with water, keeping the stems on. Okay, we have the cherries in the bowl. We've been picking out, I have the cherries in the bowl. I've been picking out some of the stems and leaves and other weird disformed one here, like all the things. But anyways, I'm going to be adding a 1/4 cup of distilled white vinegar to it, which will kill off anything bad on these cherries and make them last longer, and so they're safe for us to eat. So I'm gonna put a 1/4 cup of vinegar in here and then set the timer for 2 minutes. Okay, I am rinsing these off, and it's not so much to get the vinegar off of these, but to get any of the blossom ends and little stems that might still be sticking. So if you see how dirty the water is here, that's what I'm trying to get off when I'm rinsing it off. Any of those are stuck on. Lay them out on a towel to dry. Let them dry for 2 to 3 hours. It's summertime, so whenever they are all the way dry, then you put them in a glass jar with a paper towel and put them in your fridge, and you will have fresh cherries for around 3 weeks. Remember, if you do the same process with your grapes will actually last 6 to 8 weeks. So check out that video, we'll link it below. So the ones that don't have stems on, I will make sure that we eat these first after they're dry. I normally put them in a bowl in the refrigerator so people know to grab those first. I do not have a fancy cherry pitter, but I do use a bottle and a straw, or if you had a chopstick, it would work also. But put the stem end up at the top, and you just poke right through it, and the seed pops out and lands in the bottle. So I'm going to do that with this bowl of cherries, and then I'm going to lay them on a sheet and put them in the freezer and freeze them for later so we can enjoy them at different times of the year. So make sure that you pit any cherries before you freeze them, because then you can't get the pit out later. Also, I made cherry barbecue sauce with our cherries last year, and we have that recipe listed on our blog, which will be in the description notes. And I'm thinking about making maraschino cherries this year that will be dye-free and safe for our family to eat. So I'll be linking those pictures and the recipe for you to follow along with after I do it. Make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and check us out over on Instagram. Our blog is called 𝐻𝐿egacy.com, where we have all of these recipes, and over there is our best-selling produce tip book called I Bought It Now What. So make sure that you check it out on 𝐻𝐿egacy.com.